The following is intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Welcome, Deadites, to part 5 of What If Kazuma was the reincarnation of a former Demon King. Kazuma decided to spend the day helping Megumin practice her explosions. Watching her constantly use explosion would have some benefits for him, since he's also a spellcaster that can, well, cast explosion. More than once, by the way. I'm not even joking here. I rolled by mistake, since I forgot it was a castle she was attacking. It didn't matter anyway, since the castle rolled a nat 1 on the save, and Megumin was pretty accurate with it to begin with. Megumin did let out a mighty explosion. It was quite powerful, and Kazuma bear witness to the spell.
Not bad, Megumin. Too bad that it drains you so much, though.
Kazuma drops down and gently picks her up and carries her all the way back to town. Couldn't help but notice how cute she was when she had that goofy smile on her face. He had to suppress the urge to kiss her then and there. When the two got home, they were given the sight of Darkness and Aqua going over the basics with the new hirees. Well, the ones that had no idea what they were doing, that is. Since this place is a tavern, it serves as both food and ale. Kazuma was an adventurer, so he wouldn't always be in the tavern. Kazuma had reached out to various guilds to hire experienced workers for his business. Now, sadly, all these hirelings are gonna have to be OCs, meaning no art for them, sadly. I'm still on the lookout for an artist to commission for such projects. But the manager was a female Leonel that went by the name of Brunhilde. She looked like she was in her mid to late 30s, but had a regal air about her. Her eyes that just drew you in, green by the way, and her mane was a dark shade of blonde. Her fur was darker than her mane, to be specific. She did her job quite well, to the point where Kazuma would leave the management aspect to her. Union was hard at work today, and she got so many tips, it was crazy. However, she yelped when someone smacked her rear. She almost slapped him, but she remembered Kazuma's rule. If they touch you for less than a second, allow it, provided they tip you handsomely. However, if they grab any part of you, you have my permission to make them regret it. Those were the rules he told every single girl and even a few males there and they would adhere to that rule. Our party has seen immense profit since their previous deal had gone well, to the point where that company had requested and had been given exclusive distribution rights to certain areas. However, Kazuma was also looking to spread his product in other areas as well, so the deal was struck that devilish ales may be distributed via other merchant companies, so long as they are not in competition with, well, them. Our crew saw this no-compete clause to be feasible, so they agreed with it. Everyone can see Kazuma gingerly carrying Megumin and heading upstairs. Well, don't they make quite a handsome couple? Megumin sneakily opens one eye and looks at Darkness and sticks her tongue out. For the briefest second. No one but Darkness saw that, by the way. She passed barely on that perception check. Darkness crushes her Steiner in frustration out of the sight and suggestion, especially when she realized something.
That little wench is doing this on purpose.
Her anger calmed when she realized how often she bathed in Kazuma's presence. But the fact that Megumin is taking advantage of the fact that she's unable to move after practicing explosion and getting to spend time with Kazuma that way was rather cowardly, honestly. At least with the way Darkness was doing it, she showed courage. I mean, she practically baring her body for him to see. She was making it known that she was technically interested. She was actually putting forth effort instead of using sneaky tricks. But Megumin, on the other hand, didn't. And I guess Megumin could say the same thing, considering Darkness is putting her assets on display in front of Kazuma. But she was even going to be on his left arm at the upcoming gala. It wasn't that odd for a noble to have a harem, really, but at this point, the whole crew is really aware that Darkness is at least a noble, but only Kazuma knows the full details to how much clout her family really has. At her request, he hadn't even told Aqua. He didn't even flinch at the request, since it wasn't really his to tell in the first place, really. Kazuma helped Megumin undress and put her in her pajamas, then went downstairs. I mean, she was slightly embarrassed, but Kazuma didn't really think that much on it. I mean, it's not like he hasn't seen and watched everything on her before. But at the same point in time, she's still blushing. However, in that sight, he didn't show even a hint of perversion. Unlike what Canon Kazuma would have. Remember, guys, he sleeps with a literal goddess after all. But he did notice Megumin's cuteness and gave her a rather innocent kiss on the cheek. Rest well, my arch wizard. Now, since Explosion takes all her mana to cast, she's taking a long rest, and will be out of it for the next 8 hours.
Holy crap, he kissed me! It was just on the cheek, but he still kissed me.
Megumin, if that's enough to get a rise out of you, I'm worried about your possible future with Kazuma. But back to the story, though, yes? Kazuma goes downstairs to see Aqua doing a stunning performance using her party tricks in a flashy fashion. I don't even know why I bothered rolling a performance check for her, but I'll share the results. I rolled a natural 17 on that check. She's a goddess, so I made her proficient in just about everything that didn't involve intelligence. Well, if there are a few things that involve intelligence that she's still proficient in, but yeah. So her modifier's a 4 for performance, and her proficiency bonus is a 4, so yeah, that's a 25 on a performance check. She rocked it. Once again, why did I bother? The crowd was rolling with excitement. Thank you, everyone, for coming to see Aqua's Waterworks at the Deviluke Tavern. She gave a little fan service for her fans, and of course, a tip jar was going around. Aqua made quite a lot of money in that, especially since she almost had a nat 20. Kazuma was smiling, but Aqua put on a good show and was having a lot of fun while doing it. Hey Aqua, ready for our date? Aqua just hugged her husband. Of course she was. The two would spend the day in the Middle District. But the main reason was that they were there was to get clothes for the gala, really. Aqua lovingly or grabbed hold of her husband's arm. These two are quite the handsome couple, so they're rather used to being stared at. They make their way to the clothier to get themselves clothing meant for such a fancy occasion. Ah, welcome to my humble shop. I'll be with you in a moment. Aqua couldn't resist the urge to look around at all the dresses that were on display, but Kazuma wouldn't stand for something that was just out on display to be put on Aqua for this occasion. Kazuma saw a suit that would work well for him on a normal occasion, but once again, he needed something that he could flaunt for the occasion. He may be a low-ranking noble, but he's still a noble. As such, he will make his presence known. Having two beauties like Aqua and La Latina on his arms would help immensely with that. He felt bad that Megumin wouldn't be able to go, but them's the breaks. The invite was for the Sir and Lady Sato. There was no room for a +1 in this instance. La Latina was going since she was a high-ranking noble herself. The tailor came out and was instantly struck with inspiration for the two. Red and blue going well together. Aqua's dress would complement Kazuma's skin color, which is red, and Kazuma's would complement Aqua's hair to a point, and eyes actually. To be clear, Aqua's dress is primarily red. She'll be wearing a topaz choker to go with Kazuma's eyes, and the dress features accents of black. The style of the dress is Victorian, since, well, do I need to explain that one? As far as Kazuma goes, he'll be wearing a 3-piece, also Victorian era, suit. Said 3-piece suit features a black undershirt, silk, and the jacket and pants are going to be, well, satin, but they're blue. Midnight blue to be specific. Now, inlaid into the suit, jacket, and pants was intricate pattern of swirls leading into the logo for the Deviluke Tavern, and oddly enough, his family crest, a twin-tailed devil bat. Per Kazuma's request, the pattern and bat were gold. Darkness would get a kick out of that when she saw it. Kazuma just realized that the request he was making made it sound like he was claiming La Latina. And he very well guessed he was, actually. Aqua looked at him with a serious stare and sighed. Darkness is a good girl. So, as far as our little rule goes, she has an exemption. If you get anywhere with her, I want vivid details, though. Kazuma was holding back a smile. He held his wife's hand. Yes, ma'am. That was all he needed to be said, really, at the moment. I can have this done in time for the gala. Since you are a noble, I shall rush the order. Making a marriage piece for a lord and lady? That would put his name out there. Ludwig had thought his shop doomed to mediocrity, but this shall help him get his name out there. He must do this. He needs these customers. Ludwig is a dark elf, and his purple eyes threaten to drown you in them. He's rather effeminate looking as well, and his hair is in an intricate braid. But that's enough of that. How much do we owe you, Herr Schneider? Kazuma's language from his past life had slipped. Ah, it's been so long since I've heard that language, Herr Sato. Since you and Dom Sato have been so pleasant with such a lowly worker, consider it free of charge. I, Ludwig von Wilhelm, would consider it a great honor. The businessman in Kazuma already knew that Ludwig was in this for the exposure. Kazuma understood that, but he knew the man's gotta eat. These rubies and diamonds are worth about 1,500 gold each. Make me a cane featuring my family crest at its head. Aqua, would you like shoes as well? Your wife is a Schuster, yes? Ludwig nodded. Good, good. You may keep the change. Now, I might not always commit to the accent as far as Kazuma goes. We'll say that slips every now and again. But in this instance, when he's with Ludwig, he's going to actually let that slip. At the end of the day, Ludwig was 1,000 gold richer. He had tried to do this pro bono and was given far more than it was worth, truthfully. Kazuma gave him a head nod as he was leaving, and Ludwig bowed. Huh, that man knows his business. Ludwig's wife commented, yes indeed he does. Ludwig had a smile on his face as he and his wife went into overdrive to fulfill the order. Kazuma had his carriage ready to go during the night of the party 1 week later, and it wasn't pulled by horses. It was being pulled by bicorns. The driver opens the door for Kazuma, Aqua, and Darkness. The girls look utterly breathtaking, Kazuma quite debonair. The cane he had asked for was quite nice and suited him. Aqua grabbed his right arm, and Lalatina his left. They both looked up to him with smiles. Thank you for allowing me to accompany you, Sir Kazuma. I usually get hounded by suitors at events such as this. Kazuma sighed. I won't let that happen, Lalatina, for dustiness. For tonight, you are mine. And I shan't allow those fools but a fleeting moment with you. Now, my beautiful girls, let's party.
Did he just claim me? No. He most certainly couldn't have.
Then she noticed the gold inlaid pattern on the suit and how beautiful it was.
Gold and blue? That's not just meant to represent Aqua. He really is claiming me. Yes! Yes!
Megumin, you've fallen behind yet again. That night was wonderful. They ate, drank, danced, and mingled with nobles from all around that night. Tell me, Lalatina, have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? Kazuma kissed her hand and they began dancing on the outdoor terrace. Aqua utilized the nearby fountain and dancing lights to make for a interesting water show. At the crescendo of the song, he stole Lalatina's lips, and the audience applauded. Kazuma is a noble with land, but not much, but he has land. So it's not out of the ordinary to assume he has at least one other woman. However, they didn't go beyond that kiss. Not tonight, at least. However, the magic wouldn't last. Not even a minute after he had his moment with Lalatina, Kazuma noticed an arrow flying for a young lady. Kazuma managed to misty step, and then he lunged forward to the girl, pushing her down. Get down, Mr. President style. Now, Kazuma critically failed his dex save for this, so not only did he take the arrow to the heart, he landed on a nearby ledge and took extra damage. He landed on his head, by the way. He's dead, Jim. Time stopped for everyone, and Kazuma was met with Eris. Honey, we've got to stop meeting like this. Kazuma let out, but Eris was holding on to him in a loving fashion. Don't worry. You're being revived right now. Aqua is in for a big surprise, though. Aqua is close enough to the action that Revivify will work here. The two just sit and chat while the spell is being cast, since once again, time flows differently in the hereafter. Kazuma wakes, but it's time for that surprise I promised. He stares at a reflective plate to notice that he's in his original form of his soul, that is. A Cambion. He's still got the red and black going, but his clothes were even modified for his wings. Odd little change. The same as always. Everyone always perceived him to have always been a Cambion. Aqua would just assume this had to do with his past life, and he would confirm that later. But Kazuma was in for a surprise. The girl he had saved was on her knees crying and holding his hand. Oddly enough, everyone else there was either on their knees or lower.
Don't cry, my dear.
You'll make me want to die again. You're okay, so it was worth it. Tears from her eyes, and they both sit on chairs provided for them. Thank you for your noble sacrifice. I am Eris Stylish Sword of Bellsburg. Perhaps you know of me. I am the princess of this land, and for your quick action and selfless sacrifice, I have granted you the title of Baron, which is quite fitting considering the name this town has given you. Beer Baron, was it? Either way, your action proved your character in the fact that Lady Dustiness has been in a worse state than I and has not let go of your hand adds to your merit.
A few days later, Kazuma was bestowed a massive amount of land near his home and business that he would later expand upon. But that is a tale for next time. If you liked that, let's get a United States smash on that like button. If you're not subscribed, consider going full howling with that subscribe button. And let's go plus ultra with the notifications. Ring that bell, baby. Rest easy, Deadites. And remember, the night is ours.